Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy some malicious compliance. Customer wanted to speak to the manager and the owner. For context, my family, my aunt started it but my parents were the ones who invested in the capital, owns a brunch restaurant. A fancy and a bit overpriced kind of brunch place. This place is opened from 9 AM to 3 PM as a brunch place and opens from 7 PM to 2 AM again as a pub. I needed additional income because I wanted to buy another laptop. She's short on staff, so she hired me. And since I'm her niece and she knows I am capable of it, she assigned me as the manager. 2 weeks into the job, a waitress had gone down with the flu and told her she won't be working for that day. 'Twas fine. I took over her place and waited tables. That day, I had my first entitled person. This dude was so obnoxious. He was talking to his friends, and I assume his boyfriend. They were so loud, mostly him, that I had to tell them to tone down their voices a bit because they are making the other customers uncomfortable. Besides that, he's just ruining the place's vibe. Then, when he ordered his nth coffee, I told him that we already ran out of coffee refills, but we're making another batch. He stood up, yelled something stupid in my face, and complained that our service was bad. He was complaining about us, wanting them to shut up is bad service, and that we don't have any common sense. Then, this mofo decided to see the manager. So, I told him I was the manager. He repeated, "I want to speak to the manager." So I, the stupid little girl, faced my back to him, then twirled to face him and said, "Well, hello, good morning, I'm Yogi, the manager," with the brightest face I could muster. His face went bright red and shouted, "Get me the owner then!" Since technically, I am one of the owners because of nepotism, I did the same thing again and said, "Well, hello, good morning, I'm Yogi, the owner." He just snatched a couple of bills from his wallet, slammed it onto the table, dragged his boyfriend by the arm, and left the restaurant. After that, all of the other employees awarded me the Employee of the Week award, which was non-existent in our restaurant before I came. That would be great if you had like a fake mustache that you could just put on and then turn around and be like, "Oh, hello, I am the manager, yes." No more safe dropping. I work for a national mail company. People generally don't have a great impression of us because your one impression is the time something went wrong. And also, to be honest, some of my co-workers are dumb. Nowhere near as many people think though. Our policy is pretty simple. We can safe drop a package on your porch, or back porch or side door, if it looks safe to do so. Usually, that means if it is hidden. Some customers, the people sending the mail, never allow you to safe drop. If you can't safe drop, you are supposed to ring and then start writing a notice. When you finish writing, you ring again, drop the notice in the mailbox, and go. That's literally what we are trained to do. It's way too short a time in my opinion, but that's policy. Anyway, I have one house on my route that gets a ton of parcels. They have a spot on their porch which is covered and can't be seen from the street. I usually safe drop it there if I can. If I'm not allowed to, I will ring and give them a good amount of time because they take a long time to come from the door and I'm usually pretty nice that way. I get a complaint one morning. The guy at the house is extremely mad because a package he got is missing and it was not meant to be safe dropped anyway. I had marked it as delivered and not as safe dropped. So now I'm potentially in trouble because I'm not supposed to mark something as delivered unless I'm putting it in someone's hand or a mailbox. This customer is saying that this package is way too big to be in a mailbox. My supervisor is nice, so he tells me to just look for it and look at all houses with similar addresses because the GPS isn't working for that drop. Sometimes it doesn't. However, this is something I could get a day with no pay for. It has happened. Also, I'm worried because I don't remember having a big parcel for that house, and I have so many that I can't remember everything from like 3 days ago. This customer also says, in no certain terms, to never safe drop anything at that address again. So, I go there pretty much first thing and look around. I don't see it. I checked the mailbox just to be thorough, and there is a tiny package in there with the correct item number. I take a pic for proof and buzz the doorbell, and eventually someone comes out. It turns out that the shipping company sent the wrong amount or left something out. I'm kind of angry because I spent time on this and this dude is acting like this is also my fault, or that I actually only delivered it now. Anyway, from that day on, I don't safe drop there. No one told me to start again, and I follow policy on notices. They never get to the door on time, and they must go to the post office a lot more. The end. I absolutely despise having to go to the post office, so that's going to be one annoying malicious compliance right there. Show up to work in a hurricane or be fired? How about no? I worked at a cheap chain restaurant. There are 3 total in my county here. It is important to note that the company was founded in a northern state of the US, and they are still headquartered there. Well, one year, hurricane season was in full swing, and a right monster of one was looking to make a direct hit. I've lived in this state most of my life, and anything below a Cat 3 is just an annoyance. But this sucker was a Cat 4, and still several days out. Everyone in the county was freaking out. Landfall is supposed to be Friday, and it's Monday. Everything was selling out quickly, which just made people more panicked. My house is older and not very strong, so I'm very worried. And of course, everyone at work is wondering when our store is going to close. Monday. Several employees, including myself, are concerned that people have been scheduled for Friday. Management. We have to get authorization from HQ to close. Well, do they understand it's a Cat 4? I need to get packed up and go to my boyfriend's house. If we remain open, you have to find someone to cover your shift. Tuesday. We hear that the other 2 stores are being closed because they're both in mandatory evacuation areas. Why are we still going to be open even though the other 2 are closing? They have to. We don't. HQ hasn't authorized it. Okay, but just because the store is in a safe location doesn't mean that the roads getting here will be. We need to close. Look, I'm not happy either, but we have to wait for HQ. Wednesday, morning. Several people are calling out already, or just flat out quitting. Okay, just a reminder to everyone that if you're a no-call, no-show, you'll be fired. Seriously? HQ is keeping us open? Well, they said that since the storm is supposed to hit the next town over, we're not closing. Do they understand how a hurricane even works? Our governor is urging everyone to evacuate if they're able to. Well, we're having a conference call with them tomorrow morning and making the decision then. And if they say no? Then you'll have to show up or you'll be fired. During that shift, myself and most of the employees joined together and said we would all call out. Can't fire everyone at once, right? One by one, we went into the office and told them that we wouldn't be coming in until Monday or we quit. Since it was show up in the middle of a hurricane or be fired. Those who weren't working that day called in and said the same. Well, they had that conference call very early Thursday morning, and lo and behold, HQ was gracious enough to allow us to close. Only issue is that management now had to prepare the building by themselves, being that the rest of us had already gone inland or to shelters. We would have been glad to help Tuesday or Wednesday when we actually had time to do so, but no. Management, nor corporate, wanted to listen to reason. We were extremely lucky, as the storm turned away literally at the last minute, and we were spared the worst of it. However, when the next hurricane came around, corporate was very quick to tell us to close 2 days before landfall. Edit. Time to answer some common questions/thoughts from the comment section. Number 1, no, this wasn't Waffle House, though I always feel bad for the employees of businesses that are forced to come into work in these conditions. 2, yes, the managers were upset about the decision as well. All of them had families, and several had small children. However, I do believe that the general manager could have done more to persuade corporate before it got to this. The issue was, they just didn't understand how a hurricane works, because they kept citing that we were out of the flood zone so we'd be safe. No, it doesn't work that way. 3. Yes, I sorely wish food service and retail had their own union. 4. This was in Florida, but I'd rather not name the hurricane as it was headed to a specific cluster of cities in one county, and I'd rather not make it obvious what the name of the business is because it is good money in between jobs. It wasn't Irma though. To clarify the malicious compliance a bit, we were told to either show up or be fired. We were given a willful choice. So just about all of us chose to be fired, which management nor HQ had expected. They thought we'd all just fall in line and keep to our jobs. So when management had their conference call, they had to tell HQ that the whole store is willing to be fired to not show up to work. HQ crunched the numbers and realised that the cost of hiring a whole new staff, plus flying in support staff to help train, as well as having the stores closed in the meantime, wasn't worth trying to stay open for the customers that weren't going to show up. I could never imagine living in one of those places where hurricanes just comes like every other season. It's mad. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other stories, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like on it and subscribe if you aren't already. But thank you so much for watching and I'll see you very soon.